Hello and welcome to 𝗩𝗶𝗱𝗲𝘂𝘂𝗀𝗡𝑐𝑜𝑚, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today's video is going to cover the top reasons that your moisture meter may not be working right. So moisture meters, this is a moisture meter here, are a great tool to use in your indoor garden for checking plants for watering readiness, for when they need watering. However, like any tools, they may not always work accurately in a small percentage of cases. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use one, but it helps to understand what can go wrong basically with your moisture meter so you can have the best luck using one and know when you need to make some changes if it doesn't appear to be working properly. So first, it helps to understand how moisture meters work. They operate with an electrical current and require soil to work. They won't work if you plunge them in water. So I've had people say, my moisture meter's broken, I put it in water and it's registering 0 or whatever, or something along those lines. The reason is, as mentioned, they work with electrical currents and they need the soil of whatever moisture level it is to be able to read that soil, okay? So the strength of the electrical current that is read on your moisture meter depends on the relative amount of moisture in the soil. So common reasons for getting an inaccurate reading. So say you're using your moisture meter, you've been using it on a lot of your plants, it seems to be working great, you're having a lot of success, but then one day you stick it in a plant and you think, okay, this doesn't seem right. Maybe it's saying it's really wet when it's dry, or vice versa. It's saying that it's dry, but it looks wet, etc. So something seems off with it. Okay, so one reason is the moisture meter is broken. If you drop them, they tend to break really easily. They do have fragile parts within here, so if you drop them, they can break, then they're not going to work. So that is one reason. Second reason, they wear out in time and they need to be replaced, okay? So if you've had your moisture meter for a few years and then one day it just doesn't look like it's working all that great anymore, that could just be that it's worn out. Time to get a new one. This moisture meter I've had for quite a while now, but eventually, as mentioned, they do tend to wear out. This is a pretty inexpensive one. I'll put a link below for this moisture meter as well as some others, and I will also put a link below for any videos that are related to this video as well. Okay, the third reason that the moisture meter may not be working is that the soil has accumulated a high amount of salts. This can occur over time in your houseplant soil. Salts build up from watering, because there is salts in our waters, depending on what water you're using, but there can be salts in your water. And it also salts build up from fertilizing. This is especially the case if you use chemical fertilizers. So those are the high NPK fertilizers, 30, 30, 30, 40, 40, 40, 25, 30, 30, etc. The lower numbers are organics. They are a lot lower in salts than the chemical fertilizers. So as mentioned, if you use chemical fertilizers, salts are more likely to build up much more quickly because there's a lot more of them in the chemical fertilizers. And as mentioned, that's why I suggest using organics, which do have a lower amount of salt in them, and then it's going to build up a lot more slowly in your houseplant soil. However, all soils, when you fertilize, are going to gradually build up salt, have a salt buildup. So high salt in the soil will result in root dieback and a weakened plant that is susceptible to root rot, because the roots are dying back and then you have a lot of wet soil, and then the roots that are remaining will succumb to root rot because there's just too much wet around them. So if you find that your moisture meter seems to be giving you a wonky reading in one plant but not others, it could be that there is high salts at play in that one plant's soil, Now, you could think about it and think, yes, you know, as a matter of fact, it's been a few years since I repotted this plant, or it's been 2 or 3 years, or it's been a while, right? So that will give you a good indication that, oh, geez, this really could be high salt buildup, and that's why my moisture meter isn't working right. As mentioned, this is especially more the case if you go and put your moisture meter in another plant, say like this maidenhair fern, and it is reading properly, seeming to be properly, but then you're in the other plant, it isn't, okay? So that's an indication that there are salts in that soil, and it's just time to repot. You repot the plant, you'll find, generally speaking, that the moisture meter will start working again. Another thing to keep in mind too, whenever you are using a moisture meter, is always to check various areas of the soil, so that you get a good accurate reading. You may find there's just one area of the soil that it's acting kind of wonky, and that could be salts in that particular area. In that case, you can leach the soil, which means to run water through the pot. I have a video on that as well, and I have a whole series on using moisture meters, but I find that it's very helpful to do drill downs like this one, what's going on when it's not working. Okay, so as mentioned, it's a great tool. You just need to keep in mind that tools sometimes have problems, sometimes they break, right? So I would suggest using them, but keeping an eye if something starts to seem kind of funny. Just don't assume, oh, especially if the soil is wet and you stick the moisture meter in and then you see that it's saying that it's dry. Don't automatically water wet soil just because your moisture meter says that. So that's why that would be an indication something's going wrong with your moisture meter, and to check out the various things that I just mentioned. Another thing to keep in mind is that you do want to, whenever you use your moisture meter, clean off the tip really well, so you don't want to leave any soil on there. That will make it last longer and have less problems for you, so that it will continue to work accurately. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.